Hello guys, and welcome to a new Wargame gameplay today by me, Vulcan. Today we're going to be looking at the Conquest mode that's just come out the other day, and well, I decided to join a friend's game and invite some others. So we're playing with Bubblebox, myself, Catman and Tyler Durden on my team, and the enemy team we have Idefx, Gartavi, Uhuru and Major Failure. So, in this particular battle, Conquest is all about the capture points, not the kill points. So the idea is to basically capture as many sectors as you can and hold them for as long as you can, or just crush the enemy completely. And you can see on the enemy side that they do decide to take a lot of CVs. You can see Uhuru with his 4 CVs. Then we've got Idefx with his 1 MI4 on the right here. And we also have Gartv with 3 MI4s on the left, and a UAZ in spawn, and an SPW 50PU by Major Failure, and a T72 command up front. Now, I specifically think that the reason they lost this game was the pure fact that they had over 10 CVs at the start of the game, and to be honest, that is pretty ridiculous. I would never ever recommend doing that. On our side we had, let's see, we've got 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, we got 4, 5, and that's it. There you go. And the rest of our points are spent on really good units, like Tyler Durden went for the 3-push strategy with Leopard 2A4s, Bradleys for AGGMs, and the Armada Roland 2s. And those Bradleys also give you recon, so that's the 3-push strategy right there. In my case, I've got an air assault deck in this particular game, which gave me Hueys with HGM Dragon 2s. I've got Hueys with Riflemen, and also Hueys with Stingers. Then over here I've got a couple of AH-1S Cobras. I don't use these until later because I wanted to find out what sort of AA the enemy had to begin with. And an Apache, of course, because I absolutely love an Apache, and to be honest, they're just great. They always were in European escalation. They're not so much in Airland battle because they can be countered so easily by airplanes, but here you can see my two squads of Riflemen Hueys heading over to the left where Major is starting to head from the enemy side. Now, in this particular battle, I'm going to keep it open, as in you'll be able to see both our side and their side. This is purely because I didn't really make too much plays. I got 1,100 points by the end of the battle, and that's in kills, and 200 points in losses. So I didn't lose too many. And if you can look on the map, I don't really have many units. Over here, my F-15A Eagle did just take out an Su-7B before it could drop its napalm. And over here you can see my Delta Force, which I forgot to mention, landing into this building just here. Now early on you can see that Gartv has moved up his MI4s to Foxtrot and up to Golf in the middle here. This wasn't a very good place for a CV. Over on the left here was, but in the middle here with you know, Leopard 2s coming up the road, not such a good idea. And you can see a Leopard 2A4 snipes that straight in the face. Now in the meantime, my M15A Eagle just shot down another plane. Looks like another Su-7B. This guy comes in so handy. He starts off only hardened, and by the end of the game is elite. Perfect unit throughout this game. Kept absolute air domination throughout the game, because the enemy didn't seem to use any heavy units, including air units. They all seemed to have decks which included a lot of low-level ground targets. Here you can see my Raven coming in, missing both of its shots onto some flak racks, and then having to evac after using up 2 of the missiles, because that's all he has. But meanwhile, Tyler Durden, the person who actually is MVP of this particular match, does continue to push against these T-55s with Leopard 2A5s, which is super unfair. I wouldn't want to be the T-55s right now, seriously. That would hurt like hell. So let's go back to full view, and you can see that my Apache over here has come up to attack the reinforcement point. Now this is very, very risky, and you can see that fortunately I do spot this curve very, very early on and manage to get it out of there. Unfortunately, it manages to hit one of my AH-1S Cobras, which isn't so much of an issue because these things are only worth 45 points, where my Apache is worth 160 points. So I would rather lose a Cobra than an Apache, and you can see with that curve showing itself, I have to pull back from that area and bring in a Raven to sort it out, just so I can go back in. Now, what I was saying earlier was it was risky to have my Apache so close to the reinforcement, because he could just randomly bring in 500 cubs and just shoot down my Apache. Now for him that's not such a good idea because it would waste a lot of points, but still something to worry about. And you see throughout the game I'm just moving my Apaches around the battlefield and my Cobras to help out the rest of my team. I don't actually go for much ground assault myself. I'm literally just flying Apaches around all game, and it was pretty fun actually. Just not very exciting to watch, I guess. So that's why I've decided to do it on a grand scale. And you can see just how many CVs they have. They have so many that they actually have 3 in the home sector. That's just ridiculous. Like, come on guys, a bit of teamwork would be nice. And the old 2 Marder Rolands together trick. That's really nice. Always keep Marder Roland 2s in squads of 2s. They're so effective that way. But over on the right we've got Catman having fun with his infantry. His Fliegerfaust, I believe these are a new unit of AA that you can get hold of. And meanwhile my AH-1S Cobras come over, which can't unfortunately fire at this T-55, I don't think, because it doesn't have the right armor penetration on the rockets to even penetrate the T-55's front armor, even though they're absolutely rubbish. But you can see an Mi-35 comes forwards and unfortunately does hit my AH-1S Cobra down to 1 bar of HP while I'm not looking, because I'm busy micromanaging my Apache on the left here, and you can see that I've just sent it back to base to get rearmed because it's used up all its Hellfire missiles and its Hydra missiles. But in the meantime, after the napalm's gone, I believe Tyler decides to finally move up the hill with his Leopard 2A4s. And over on the right side, in the meantime, we've got Bubble Box moving forwards with harpoons and Flak Panzer Gepards. Now this is a very light armoured push here. We got the harpoons with their really inaccurate ace gems. Their normal cannons can fire extremely fast, but to be honest, they're not exactly the most accurate things in the world. Their rate of fire is absolutely insane on their main cannon. You can see they've got 19 rounds per minute. That's why they're going boom, boom, boom. I know there was multiple ones there firing, but basically in real life these guys had autoloaders, so they could fire really quick anyway. And you can see Bubble Box is moving forwards his CV into this sector. And meanwhile we've got a MiG-17F being shot down over the top of their forces. Straight into the dirt there. And moving forwards, these harpoons are surely going to see this UAZ. And you can see a missile miles away from the harpoon does manage to snipe this UAZ. That is so unlucky. Meanwhile we got a nice grad barrage. These guys do absolutely nothing to our forces throughout the game. They just spray them down. They don't really do much. They panic some of the helicopters in the area, but that's about it. And you can see just as air cover I bring in an F-15A Eagle, and with that there I just basically try and scare off all of these air units as best I can. This MiG-17PF here by IDFX just gets taken off the battlefield straight away when he sees it. So I'm basically rearming another one of my Apaches, and my AH-1S Cobra, after using up the rest of its missiles, has come to land at my base. Now unfortunately I forgot to land this until a little bit later on, so that doesn't land straight away. But by the end of it I have about 4 Apaches which I'm just microing around the battlefield, which is really fun. But for now we've basically taken control of the majority of the map. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sectors. I nearly counted the same one twice. We've got 8 sectors and they have 5. So we're definitely beating them in terms of command points. And you can see that's what's counting up on the right side very steadily. We've got +10 on the enemy. So that's what is giving us the lead currently. My Raven here. This is what I use throughout the game to make sure that there are no radar AA, to take care of my own units at base. And over here you can see some VDV got dropped in when a Mi-8T pushed forwards towards my FOB. I managed to take that out with the help of an ally's aircraft, and then I move forwards its AH-1S Cobra, which eventually spots it and takes it out with the rocket pods. Meanwhile, over here, pushing over the hill, is Tyler Durden with his Leopard 2 A4s. Now, Major Failure with his Leichtschüssen is using a lot of HGMs, and he decides to pull back, which I think was wise considering. And then once this Leopard 2 A4 gets its stabilization malfunction back up and the firing computer reset, then he attacks again. But in the meantime, I've got my F-15A Eagle coming in again. I do evac that straight away after shooting down this helicopter. And also an F-4F Ice by Catman also gets taken out of the battlefield there. Again, another barrage. Look how crazy that is. The Seahawks, like, holy shit. But they do nothing. Like, seriously, those grads are probably one of the most useless rocket units I've ever seen. Yes, they can produce some sort of panic, but you can see, even though this Harpon was like right in the middle, he's only shaken. That's as bad as it is. Now I finally brought one of my Apaches back up, and it's going for the Hydra to take out his recon. And then with that dead, I move forwards to take care of the rest of his units. Now, there isn't actually much recon for myself here. Like, if I actually go to my point of view quickly, you can see I can't see barely anything. But it's all I need to see in order to sort things out. And you can see I bring in an F-15A Eagle purely to provide air cover for my Apaches, because my Apaches are extremely expensive. My Apaches are probably more expensive than this F-15A Eagle. And you see here, he just finally decides to bring in 3 books. Now they come straight down the road and they give away their position almost instantly, and you can see I evac my F-15A Eagle as quickly as possible. Fortunately, the second 2 missiles miss, and you can see that we are very close to victory at this point. So with that, I bring in 2 Ravens, and you can see the missiles flying off to the right side here. Another one comes in, and that's 3 books dead and a cup. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, with them all dead, and I go back to my point of view, you can see I'm starting to bring up 1, 2, 3, 4 Apaches. And this is just end game completely for them. Because there's no way that you can control that many Apaches without decent AA, and all he's got here is a few awful AA units in the form of the Flat MG SPW 152Es, which are basically little cars with AAs on the back of them. Meanwhile, on the left, we've still got Tyler Durden going at the enemy with his Leopard 2A4s and M3 Bradleys. And in the middle, throughout the game, I've got my Hueys just covering the middle, my Delta Force on the left, some Stingers and Dragons, which I all placed at the beginning of the map and basically forgot about until the end of the game. And I've got some Rangers here which I brought in to defend against the VDVs, and my AH-1S Cobra is basically hovering there to take out this VDV squad once it shows itself. Unfortunately, it's so close to the end of the game now that it barely matters, and we're basically pushing round now to secure the rest of the game. Now, the way the score really works is that basically our points add up to plus 10 more than what theirs add up to. So they don't get points unless they own more points worth of sectors than we do, which I find is kind of unfair in this particular game mode, because it means that the person with the most sectors is really dominant. It really makes the game mode unbalanced, because if you hold one more sector than the enemy that's worth a little bit more, then the enemy won't be getting points for the entire time that you own that sector, which is kind of stupid until they manage to get more than you. And with this sector taken out, we get a nice plus 16 bonus that boosts us over the 1,200 points to achieve. And there we go. Job done. So, there we go, guys. That was the first look at a Conquest game mode. And to be honest, I wasn't much of a fan. I thought it was a bit boring. I really liked the fact that I was using my Apache to take out loads of forces, but the thing is, there's no way to know that you've killed an enemy unit. So if they're, for instance, hiding in cover and you take them out, you don't know unless you zoom right in and check the reg that they've actually died, because no points come up above them as in like they do in the normal game mode. And I don't like that at all. I would like to know that something got killed. Maybe if it was just like a floating X above the unit or something, or maybe an X on the map, or just basically something that told me that I killed a unit. It wasn't very gratifying when you killed stuff, because you didn't know whether you got the kill or not until the end of the game, where you could see the kills and losses. Now in this case, like I pointed out, Tyler Durden won 2,164 kills to 80 losses. That's incredible. Very well done by him. I got 1,120 kills to 200 losses, which isn't too shabby at all. We got 1,350 losses to 260 losses by Bubblebox, and 1,566 losses to 526 losses by Catman. The enemy team didn't do so great, as you can see for yourself, but there we go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this one, and maybe even learnt something. But thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.